the NBI dismissed that case, NBI is not the final authority. Perhaps the private complainant who sued you asked for a reconsideration, went to DOJ. Because the proper venue for your case is the Department of Justice and not the NBI. NBI will only make some preliminary investigation. It's in their option to file a case or not. But the private complainant can go to DOJ and seek reconsideration of whatever decision of the NBI. Because the final authority would be the Department of Justice. That's what happened to you. So there was a preliminary investigation. The prosecutor found probable cause. That is why you were charged in court. And then the court, again, under the Constitution, the judge will have to personally evaluate it if there is probable cause. And he found it. You must remember, Maria, that the complainant is a private person. I don't even think the president knows this person. And it happened before the time of the president.
Maria?
Yes. Yes, Ruth.
You should be arguing against the private complainant, not us. We don't have anything to do with it. It's the duty of the DOJ to find probable cause. It's the duty of the judge to find probable cause, and it's the duty of the court to try the case of the marriage.
Secretary Panelo, you are entitled to your opinion, and as a powerful cabinet secretary, you have the ability to not just have a megaphone to say it. I disagree, and I have as much right to actually say that and to fight for my rights. What's happened here is the actual serving of the arrest warrant shows an intent of malice. The officers had 10 days to actually serve it. They didn't have to serve it after court was closed yesterday. They did not have to detain me. In fact, that's an infraction of my rights. This case that is ludicrous to begin with is actually a case where I have the right to bail. It's not debatable. I have the right to bail. Yeah. I will submit myself to the rule of law, but what's very clear here is the abuse of power and the weaponization of the law against perceived enemies. I'm not your enemy, Secretary Panelo. I am a journalist doing my job.
No, you're not my enemy. You know, Maria, you want that the warrant of arrest be served to you the day after it was issued. You want to be treated differently from the rest of people subject of a warrant of arrest. The warrant of arrest says any peace officer or police officer has to effect the arrest immediately after its issuance. Now you want to be treated differently. That cannot be done, Maria. The law is no respecter of social standards. Whether you're powerful or not, when there is a warrant of arrest, it has to be served to you. What is prohibited is if it is being served to you on a Saturday. Then I will agree with you.
I am just pointing out all of the anomalous parts of this arrest warrant. It did not include bail. It did not include the information sheet. It was delivered in a way that was meant to keep me detained inside the NBI. If you wanted to show me the power of the government, thank you. I do know the power of government. I show you respect as a cabinet secretary. I demand the same respect as a citizen of this country and as a journalist holding power.
Maria, you're citing certain irregularities, which are not irregularities. You say that there is no stated recommended bail. That is not required.
Secretary Panelo, I would suggest,
Let me
take
finish.
this in
I allow you to finish.
I think you
Give me
can.
the courtesy. Let me finish what I'm saying. It's the court that will determine the bail. Only the prosecutor recommends. But if he recommends, but the court doesn't want, then the court will set it. So there is no irregularity.
All that.
You're complaining of irregularity. That is not an irregularity. It was served to you in accordance with law.
Again, I'll point out that underneath the law, under the Constitution and this country's laws, the judge in the only open night court had jurisdiction to accept the bail, which we were ready to post 2 hours before the court closed. The fact that it was not granted bail and detained
Why
overnight.
Why were you not granted bail? Did the court tell you anything about it?
Okay.
Sorry. garbled.
Tell you why your bail was not being granted?
I can't hear.
Okay, Maria, can we just go back to what you were saying earlier that overall you're looking at this as like an attack on press?
Ruth,
Yes,
this
sir.
is very important because she's complaining about that being granted bail. I want to know what the court said in denying bail, or she wasn't given a. Why was she not given bail? What was the reason of the court?
The court said, Secretary Panelo, I'm more than willing to talk to you and have our lawyers say it, but what our lawyers tell us is that there was no information sheet.
No, Maria, I
Mr.
want to
Secretary?
know why the court did not grant you bail. Because
Sure.
Why did the court did not grant you bail? What did it say?
Our lawyers were told they needed the information sheet, which was not attached to the warrant. Part of the reason the Philippine Daily Inquirer, thought that this was a non-bailable charge was precisely because there was no mention of bail on the actual arrest warrant, which is also irregular.
Maria, then something is wrong with the way your lawyer handled your case. Because your lawyers could have argued to the court, Your Honor, our client is entitled to bail. It's the court that will determine the amount of bail that we will post.
Okay.
They did, sir.
Yung mga abogado mo pala yung
Secretary Panelo and Maria,
gobyerno.
looks like we can still, there's still a long way to go for a battle in court and the other legalities. And so we just ask a few words na lang again from Maria before we let you go, Maria.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Well, thank you for listening to me and thank you for covering the story. With great respect to Secretary Panelo, he is entitled to his opinion. I'm entitled to mine. And my own personal experience shows me exactly the position I've taken. I have nothing against the government. I'm not anti-Duterte. In fact, President Duterte, most likely also, we helped in his election through our own coverage of it, right? We should be working for the same cause, which is to make democracy stronger in this country. But my own experience, again, it is not normal to be posting bail 6 times within 2 months. It does not scare me. It is not going to stop Rappler from reporting. We'll continue to ask the tough questions. And part of this is, I hope, Ruth, as with CNN Philippines, this is the time when it's important for journalists to do their jobs. This is the time when the checks and balances of government should kick in. We want to make sure our democracy flourishes and gets better, not gets worse. Thanks so much, Ruth.
Thank you. And Secretary Panelo, sir.
Yes. This is my message to Maria. Maria,
Go ahead, sir.
the procedure in your case was followed to the letter, in fact. If you felt that it was not, then you have legal remedies. You can always ask for a reconsideration. You can file. Your lawyers know how to handle that case. But you cannot be blaming the government for perceived irregularities, which are not irregularities.
Okay, thank you very much, Secretary Panelo, and our guest here in the studio, Verhel.